By late afternoon, the rain over Portland had settled into that steady, cold drizzle that made the silver skillet feel even more worn than usual. Jenna Molson was wiping down the counter, again, when the door creaked open and the quiet girl in the oversized purple coat slipped into her usual booth. For 20 days, the child never spoke, never paid, never explained why she always arrived alone. But today, something in her eyes was different. Sharper. Frightened. Jenna brought over the hot chocolate, setting it down gently. "Everything okay?" she asked. The girl looked up for the first time in days, her voice barely a breath. "He's coming." Before Jenna could react, the neon sign outside flickered, and 3 black SUVs slid to a stop in front of the diner. Men stepped out, scanning the windows with the precision of people who weren't here for food. Jenna felt the room tighten around her, a pressure she couldn't explain. Whatever this girl was running from, it had finally found her. And this was only the beginning. If you're already hooked, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales for more unforgettable stories. The moment the SUVs stopped outside the Silver Skillet, every conversation inside the diner fell into a strange, uneasy pause. Something heavy seemed to settle over the room, as if the air itself understood danger before any human did. Jenna remained near Maya's booth, pretending to smooth a napkin, though her pulse thudded loud in her ears. The girl's whisper, "He's coming," still hung in Jenna's chest like a warning she couldn't shake. When the first man stepped through the door, tall and rigid as a steel beam, the neon lights flickered off the tinted lenses of his glasses. He swept the diner with the slow precision of someone trained to recognize threats before he recognized faces. Behind him, another man secured the entrance with a single, deliberate push of his palm. Chairs rattled. A couple near the window froze with forks halfway to their mouths. Jenna moved an inch closer to Maya, blocking the girl's trembling body with her own. "It's okay," she murmured, though nothing about this moment felt okay. A deep voice rolled across the room. "I'm looking for my daughter." Damian Cross stepped into the diner like he owned the floor beneath him. His suit carried rainwater and authority in equal measure. His gloved hands flexed once, as though preparing for impact. But his eyes, cold blue searching, told the real story. They weren't angry. They were desperate. Maya stiffened so violently that Jenna felt it through her own bones. Damian's gaze locked on the back booth. Recognition ignited across his features, followed quickly by something darker. Fear, or maybe devastation. "Maya," he whispered. Jenna stood up before she even realized she was moving. Her palms were sweating, but she planted herself like a wall. "You're not taking her," she said. Damian blinked as if someone had slapped him. "She's She's terrified of you," Jenna snapped. "She has bruises. She hasn't eaten properly in days. Whatever you think gives you the right to walk in here with a security squad, no." The nearest guard shifted, hand hovering near his jacket. "Ma'am, step aside." "Touch me," Jenna muttered, "and you're going to regret it." Before the guard could respond, Maya's voice burst out of her in a breaking sob. "Don't hurt her." That single cry changed everything. It dropped something sharp and human into the center of the standoff. Damian's expression shattered. His shoulders sagged. His hand fell away from his coat as if surrendering to a truth he didn't want to face. But the moment cracked open only long enough for the real danger to arrive. The window exploded. Glass rained through the diner in a sparkling wave that caught the overhead lights. Customers screamed, diving to the floor. Booths splintered under the impact of high-velocity rounds. The air filled with the choking scent of dust and coffee grounds shaken from shattered shelves. Damian lunged, pulling Jenna and Maya down behind a table just as bullets ripped through the booth where Maya had been sitting. "They found us," he growled. "Who?" Jenna coughed through the settling dust. "The ones who took her." Gunfire shook the walls as Damian coordinated with his guards. "Kitchen exit," he shouted. "Move." Jenna didn't think. She scooped Maya into her arms and ran. Pots clattered, plates smashed, steam billowed from broken machines. They dodged falling shelves and sparks from severed wires until they burst through the back door into an alley filled with smoke and rain. A black Escalade was already waiting, riddled with bullet holes from the gunfight inside. The engine hissed useless. "My car," Jenna said, pointing at a battered Honda half hidden behind a dumpster. "It still runs." They piled in, the car groaning under the weight of armored men and too much adrenaline. Tires squealed as Chris, Damian's most physically imposing guard, tore down the alley. Rounds ricocheted off the dumpster, peppering the Honda's doors with dents. "Seat belts," Chris barked. The Honda fishtailed across a slick intersection, then surged onto a side road leading toward the industrial district. Maya clung to Jenna, trembling so hard that Jenna wrapped an arm around her to keep her steady. After 10 breathless minutes, the guns fell silent behind them. Rain drummed across the roof like 1,000 accusing fingers. The city blurred past in streaks of orange and gray. Then Jenna's phone buzzed. She glanced down, and her stomach twisted. Breaking news flashed across the screen. Wanted suspect. Jenna Molson. The broadcast replayed shaky footage of their escape, branding her a kidnapper, a violent accomplice, a danger to the child she was trying to protect. "They're blaming me," Jenna whispered. Damian's jaw clenched. "Silas moves faster than I expected." "Who is Silas?" Jenna demanded. Damian kept his eyes forward, voice low. "The man who took my daughter." Maya flinched, burying her face in Jenna's sleeve. Hours later, after navigating abandoned logging roads, they reached a fortified bunker carved into the cliffside. Inside, concrete walls shielded them from the world, but not from truth. Maya wouldn't go near Damian. She ate only when Jenna coaxed her. She slept curled on Jenna's lap as if Jenna were the only safe ground left on earth. Damian watched them from the doorway, looking both grateful and broken. "She doesn't know what's real," he said. "She knows kindness," Jenna replied. But the night offered no peace. Because Chris, the guard they trusted most, wasn't who he claimed to be. Jenna caught him tapping his watch in a strange pattern. She saw him smirk when the news broadcast blamed her. She saw the way Maya went rigid whenever he walked by. And then she heard him. Standing outside the control room, she pressed her back to the cold concrete and listened to Chris speak into a calm line with chilling calm. "Extraction team is 10 minutes out. Jenna dies first. The girl stays alive. Damian gets restrained." Silas's distorted voice crackled through the speaker. "Make it clean. I want Cross to watch." Jenna didn't wait. She sprinted down the hall. "Damian," she yelled. "Chris is with them." Chris appeared in the doorway, wiping tomato soup from his face from the bowl she had thrown earlier. His grin was predatory. "You should have stayed in your lane, Waitress." He lifted his gun. But the chamber clicked empty. Damian stepped into view, bleeding, furious. "You stole my backup weapon," he said. "But you never cleaned it." He lunged. The fight tore the room apart. Tables split under their weight. Shelves toppled. Chris fought with brutal, methodical strikes. But Damian fought like a father whose entire world was on the floor hiding behind Jenna. Jenna saw the dropped gun. Saw the jam. Knew what she had to do. She slammed the weapon against the floor with all her strength until the casing popped free. Then she raised it, hands shaking, vision blurred by smoke, and fired. Chris roared as the bullet tore into his thigh, collapsing him long enough for Damian to grab a glass sculpture and bring it down with a final, decisive blow. Chris fell unmoving. Sirens blared in the distance. Not police. Helicopters. "They're here," Damian said. They escaped through a hidden tunnel dug into the cliffside, emerging beside the roaring Columbia River. Under the sweep of searchlights, they pushed a rotting skiff into the frigid current and rode through black water until dawn painted the sky with exhausted light. By morning they were in the city, and Silas was already inside the courthouse, preparing to claim custody forever. What followed was not a showdown of fists or bullets, but truth. Maya stood before the judge with Jenna holding her shoulders steady. "That man," she said, pointing at Silas, "hurt me. He took me. He lied." Silas tried to object, tried to shout them down, but Damian produced Chris's recorded confession. Silas ordering the burning of the diner, the kidnapping, the brainwashing, every monstrous act laid bare for the world to hear. The courtroom gasped. Silas lunged for Maya in a final act of rage. But he didn't reach her. Jenna tackled him so hard the bench rattled. Officers swarmed, forcing his face to the ground as he screamed threats that no longer had power. For the first time, Maya didn't hide. She watched him fall. The judge struck the gavel. Silas Vane, architect of fear, thief of childhood, manipulator of an entire system, was sentenced to decades behind bars, stripped of influence, power, reputation, and every weapon he ever used against them. Jenna stood beside Damian, breath shaking, hands steady. And in that moment, Silas finally understood the truth. He didn't lose to a billionaire. He lost to a waitress who refused to look away. When the courtroom finally emptied and the last echo of Silas's fury faded down the hallway, Jenna stepped outside with Maya's hand in hers. The cold Portland air felt different now. Lighter, almost honest. For the first time in weeks, Jenna wasn't running from anything. She was walking toward something she hadn't dared to imagine. A life rebuilt not from luck, but from courage she didn't know she had. Damian joined them on the courthouse steps. No longer the desperate man who'd burst into a diner, but someone learning how to stand steady again. He looked at Jenna with a quiet gratitude that didn't need to be spoken. Maya leaned into Jenna's side, not out of fear, but trust. A small gesture that carried the weight of every moment they'd survived together. Jenna realized then that she hadn't just protected a child. She'd reclaimed a part of herself. The part that once believed small acts of kindness could shift the course of a life. Sometimes they do more than that. Sometimes they save one. As they walked away, sunlight broke through the clouds, catching on the courthouse windows in a soft golden glow. A final reminder that truth, once spoken aloud, has a way of lighting everything it touches. If this story moved you, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and help Canada's Heartfelt Tales continue to grow by subscribing to the channel.